Hey friends, it's Chris Texera. Let's play another game of the Settlers of Catan on Catan Universe. Now, I'm not actually playing this game. I already played this game, but this is one of those videos that, well, how do I put it? I didn't have the volume on when I was recording it. Whoops. So I lost 3 games. And so I'm going to record this, well, 4 games. So I'm going to record this one again, just do the audio over it. And there's a Catan Labs game that I thought was really fun that I'm going to do a voiceover over as well. So this is kind of like me looking at it in retrospect. So this is actually a really tough board for like the 3rd or 4th player or we're in, because we don't get any ore really. I mean, just look, it's like the 6, 10, 9. Like that gray player is in a fantastic spot. They can get that sheep port with that 6, 10, 9. And now we're looking at the 6, 4, 3. And in my wildest dreams, I'm like, man, it would be sweet if I could go over here and get this 6, 10, 9. Or whatever, 9, 4, 3. Now, newsflash, that ain't going to happen. And so you got to look at all the other spots on this board. And I was, really thinking like, where else could I go here? Like there's a couple of things I could do. I could take maybe that like 9, 10, 5. There's like 8, 4, 3 or 8, 10, 11 up there. Even looking at like the 8, 10, 5, 9. That's kind of an interesting possibility. So Brown takes the 6, 4, 3. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, ugh, what a mess. And I really did consider taking this sheep port option for a while. I was like, it would be kind of funny. It would be insane amount of production. I could probably do like 8, 5, 10, point up to the 5, 6 or down to the 3, 8. But the problem is you can get really bogged down in there, and then just relying on sheep is a little wonky. So I'm looking at like this wood brick area. I think that's also good. But then the problem is I probably get locked out of wheat. Right? Because certainly somebody's going to take like that 8, 4, 11 or the 8, 10, 11 if I take that. So I wind up taking the 8, 4, 11. And I'm hoping for a couple of different options here. I'm either hoping that this, wood area is still available. So that's still, I'm going to move that out of the way. Like this wood area is still available. But really even then, I'm like, it's probably going to stink no matter what I do. So really at that point, I'm kind of looking like, where else can I really go here? So that's gone. So it's kind of like I'm stuck in 2 wheat brick land. I could maybe take wood, maybe make a run at the wheat port, but that's not very good. Like the wood port's basically dead to me, so that's not very good. And so I'm looking at this 3, 12, 6 to build to the 9, right? Build to the 9 is probably the best because it gives me an ore wheat sheep. I have really strong wheat, really strong sheep, and minimal ore with a tick of brick, right? I looked into this 8, 5, 10 option again, but again, it's too limiting. Like, what are you going to do? Just go on the coast, 5, 10, 8? It's not good enough. So even though this is like such a really wonky spot, I think the 3, 12, 6 is actually the way to go, pointing to that 9. And again, it's mostly because I'm pretty confident, since red is placed, I know red's not going to go to that ore. I'm already 100% certain like gray's not going to go to the 12, 9. That doesn't do them any good. And neither is brown, doesn't do them any good. Like they're better off taking like the, 9, 10, 11 or like the 8, 10 or something. So I'm totally expecting them to live up in this world over here. So let's see actually what they do. I actually don't remember. Oh yeah, Brown takes the 9, 10, 11. Pretty predictable. Points up. Kind of don't know about that. That's one of those kind of lose-lose. I actually think in that situation, you point to the right and try to get the 11-3 or the 9-4. It's a little insulating. Because the problem is, gray could very conceivably just go 8-10. Right? And then you're screwed with your road there. And it's kind of a dead road, and then they do a 10 point down to the 10-5, or vice versa. Now, they luck out in that they take 11, 4, 3. I didn't love this as a pick, and I didn't love them going that way. I thought that was kind of odd. If I'm them, I'm going 8, 10 or 10, 5 all day, preferably 8, 10, because then I'm getting the wheat, right? And if you're in an, high sheep situation with the port with the 9, you're looking at a good or wheat sheep game. So really our way to slow them down is to just not give them any wheat if possible. So here we go. Now, I am not expecting much of this game, mind you. So I'm buying a card here early. We get a knight, and we're pretty happy with that. Not that I think we're going to get blocked. I mean, where are you going to block us? Like the 6, maybe, right? It's not like a great situation. Boy, not a great situation. But there's a couple interesting things with our setup, right? One, we have a 3-for-1 port and potentially an OR port if we really want it. Really, the 3-for-1 port's what we're eyeing. But our first commit, 100%, is going to be this 9-12. Oh, yeah. They actually do hit our 6. I remember being a little annoyed by that. I was like, really? Me there? But, overall, I guess I'm kind of grateful because there wasn't a lot of great spots for them to hit. And it hits 2 opponents, so I can't really complain. And I get a brick, so I'm happy with that too. 6 here, so we already lose a sheep, which ain't great. They build a road up. My turn. Let's go use this robber we've been holding on. We hit the 9 here. Yeah, we still from brown. We get a wheat. We're hoping for a wood in that situation. We don't get it, but we got double brick now. So we're okay with that. We'll be looking to trade some of that soon if we can. Again, we are kind of in dire straits, but the good news is we do have the one resource everybody needs, which is wheat. And, if there's one thing you as a player can learn from like the US Catan National Championship game, which, by the way, I have a video coming out on that very soon. So give it a watch. It's that no wheat means defeat, man. No wheat means defeat. So having too much of wheat is not necessarily a bad thing, right? So here, they're off trying to offer me stuff for my wheat here. I am in a position to deal, right? The only other person with any kind of wheat is brown. They had a wheat on that 11. Even this isn't so bad. I'm like, But I'm still thinking I can get 2 cards. And sometimes you just have to know the value of your cards, right? If you're living in a low wheat world like this map, and I'm the only person with a consistent source of wheat, you can charge a premium. Now, people, especially on Catan Universe, might be a little hesitant to pay that initially, but you watch, after a couple rounds and not getting any wheat, they become a lot friendlier. And that's really for any resource, but especially for wheat. Especially for wheat. Really, it gets things cooking. Now, I do relent a little bit here. I'm like, look, all right, let me see if I can get this deal. Someone might take this. I don't recall. I'm looking for people to take these 2-for-1s if I can. Only if I have to will I go to a lesser deal. Because honestly, an ore is not so bad for me either. In this situation, I could get a card, but I'm really after the 1-for-1 or the 1-for-2 here. But we'll see. No, he'll offer me an ore. Yeah. And he offers me a wood. Now, what's interesting is I actually take the wood deal. And the reason I take the wood deal is there's 2 reasons. One is because I need a wood to get to this 9-12. And 2, Gray is going to be even more desperate to give me 2 ore or a wood and an ore or something later on, right? The other reason, brown produces wheat, right? Brown had an 11, right? Maybe it got stolen. I don't know, but they had one. So if it's not there anymore, okay. But, I'm more willing to trade 1-for-1 with somebody who already produces a resource than someone who doesn't, or someone with like 1 pip of production, just because they're going to be a little bit more desperate to get that from me. So just a thought when you're trading, right? Don't be afraid to ask for 2 cards. So many people just ask for 1-for-1. Ask for 2. Ask for 2. Trade differential is kind of a big part, especially of in-person Catan. The problem with the online stuff, especially like Catan Universe, is there's a lot less trading on this platform than there is in like real life games, right? There's a ton of trading in real life games, unless you guys are like living and all your friends are like misanthropes and they're just not interested in having any kind of social life. Oh, I actually didn't remember that this happened. Guess we dropped, but we're back and everything's fine. I think red drops here pretty soon. That's like the only downside of this game, but even then, red's position was pretty mediocre. I mean, what are they doing? Sheep and wood brick? They're going for the 3-for-1 board. Good for them. Yeah, I forgot about this, but this does clear up. This game does end, and that's, I think, the last one of these. So it's a little bit of a pain here. They roll. Great. More brick for us. Wonderful. And the game continues. So all good. All right, 5 here. Let's see. So again, they're going to get a little desperate, and we can start asking for things. Let's ask for this. How about that 2-for-1? So see, he does get a 2-for-1. He just doesn't get it from me. So that is a little unfortunate. The wheat we trade to brown actually nets him in. But you see, the market for wheat is 2-for-1 right now. And we're setting that as our market value. So it's really interesting to note that. Again, don't necessarily underscore the value of the wheat. Now, a situation like this where you have so much wheat, at this point, I'm willing to unload it for a little cheaper. Of course, my problem is that wheat is not currently in demand. So it's kind of like stuck here, which is a really unfortunate place to be, right? Because like at some point it's like, okay, not worth it. Yeah, so I decided to port. And the reason why is I just don't want to 7 out. There's 0% chance I should be getting robbed with our board position, because we look at our numbers, they're terrible. We have what? A ridiculously terrible amount of production. How many production we have here? This is what? 5, 7, 8 plus, let's see, 10, 13, 18 productions. Pretty weak sauce, right? Pretty weak sauce there, having 18 production with 6 pips. Like maybe 18 production if you had like a corner hex with like a port or something, but 18 production, yikes. So not too great. And there it is. And the wheat comes right back anyway, because again, we're expecting it to. And now we've got to settle in hand to get to our 9-12. So very excited about that. Let's see if this ever goes. These turns start to speed up pretty quickly from here, I think, because finally we don't have to worry about red doing anything. Oh, excuse me. Oh, computer's offering trades, and they pass. Okay. Another 7. By the way, I think it's so silly when people are putting these things on the desert and stuff. Like, I get it's online Catan, but it's still Catan. Like, we're all playing by the same set of rules here. Like, I don't mind the friendly robber. I really don't. When we play at home, typically we'll do friendly robber for the first round, like until somebody gets to 3, at which point you can start robbing them. That's our house rule. But, in real like Catan tournament settings, there's no friendly robber. If you're playing online, you're better off probably not doing it. But in this case, we're really happy to go see if we can offload some of this extra brick first. It's kind of an interesting thing to do. A lot of people would just build the settlement there first and then try to trade brick. That's kind of a mistake. So if you can, you generally want to trade before you build things. So just keep that in mind. And the reason is, if they say, oh, well, he doesn't have an actionable hand, he's probably not going to be that threatening. Even though he has a lot of cards, maybe I can get like a 2-for-1 or something, and maybe you can try to whittle it down. But maybe you could do something to get like a second set of things, right? Or maybe they won't trade you. The reverse is maybe they won't trade you after you put down your settlement. So something to think about. But right now we're rolling. We're rolling. We're getting some sheep. We got 2 ore and a wheat here. Things are looking mighty fine. So let's see what we get here. And lucky us, we get a 7, which we always love a good 7. I wonder where we put it, actually. Curious. Where do we put this thing? Yeah, we're shutting down our guy mostly because he has ore. We know he has ore because that 9 roll. I'm certainly going to be looking to get a card here. It's an interesting decision whether or not I should have saved for a city or not here. Ultimately, I think the card is not a bad idea because we already got the pacing on the army, and it's never bad to have another knight, especially when you already have the pacing. And in a situation like this, when we're playing kind of like a lower production or wheat sheep, I really don't mind getting the card. Here's the thing, like I wouldn't be surprised this hits the 8 wheat. I don't remember if it does, but that's probably where I would put it. Yep. They don't hit me, which is nice. Mostly because we're, we look pretty pathetic. And rightfully so. Yeah. Newsflash, if you want to get wheat, don't block the 8. I do like that move, though. I think that's a very smart defensive move by the gray player. If you want to get that ore port, put it there. Personally, though, I don't know how useful that is. Where did I put this here? Just I'm looking around here. I think it's probably the 5 if I had to choose. So I block my own 9 now. Where do I put this? I'm curious to see what I was thinking here. Okay, we put it on the ore. Interesting. I can't remember why we did that. I think I was getting concerned about them getting a city with this 8, because I know a 6 or 2 had rolled already. And so that's never so bad. But look at this. We are able to get our road in, which is nice. Not that I really thought gray was going to go there, but, it was possible that gray might have gone all the way to the 8 wheat. So I was pretty happy with that. Now let's see if I can get this 2 for 1. That's an interesting idea. You can extract more value for your cards, you might as well. Because worst case, you just say no. Yeah, but that was a really nice road there. And again, I'm not in any particular rush to take anything. I could take this and get a card. But I'm always going to see if I can get that extra wood. Yeah. And again, we're looking for good deals here. Trying to drive the market. Try to press what people are offering you. Always press. The 6 here is real nice for us. Potentially gets me a card. Potentially gets me a little bit more trading fodder. And again, still not offering this guy wheat. Especially in a situation with a cheap port. And here we go. This is like a much better offer, right? 2 for 1. He's finally starting to get the picture. And that's when you start to get them. When they start offering you 2 for 1s, it's like, okay, good. That's what you want, right? You want to have flexibility. And they go 2 for 1 wheat, which is interesting. They probably were looking to buy a card there. A lot of forests. A lot of forests this game. What do we get? Let's see. 11. Very nice. So this is an interesting one. Did we buy a card here? I'm trying to remember. We're fishing for wood. Okay. Big part of me is like, maybe I should go get a city. Unfortunately, we're just not getting the deals here. And so, what do? I think I just buy a card. Yeah. Well, that's one of those, I think I would have rather not have bought a card there, but, it's that or 7 out, right? You don't want to do that. We do luck out. We get another ore pretty quickly. I'm going to offer the attack on the wood again. Not that I think the computer is going to accept this, but I'm going to keep trying. Let's get a 1 for 1 there with brown, so it's pretty nice for brown getting the wood. At this point, I do have to be a little bit careful. It's possible brown goes up to the 8 3 for 1 port. I think they're better options, probably the 10 5. We get another wheat here, very nice. And we're at 7 cards. So one more 3 or 9 nets us a city, which is pretty sweet. So, I mean, look where we're at right now, right? We're at 4 points. We got 2 knights and a victory point. And we've got a potential expansion spot on a 3-for-1 port. Currently, we're portless, but that's okay. So we're doing okay. Despite not getting like a ton of rolls or anything. You know, we've gotten a lot of 4s, but so has everybody. So we're not that unique there. But this is where things start to look a little bleak here. Gray gets the city on the 6, 9, 10. By the way, that's the other reason why I don't want to give him wheat. For those of you who did watch the U.S. National Championship game, I do think that's a big part of how Dandy Drew won that. Is he was able to get that city in the first like 2 orbits, despite not having any ore production. He was just able to trade for it, which is nuts. You should just not be giving Drew a city on the 2nd orbit, which is like a big no-no. But they did. So, you know, that was a major coup for Drew there. And here we go. We get a city, which is sweet. I choose the 12-9. Okay. So maybe an interesting pick, but the reason is I'm pretty confident that 9 ore is going to stay unblocked because I want it unblocked and Gray wants it unblocked. If we put it on the 8-4-11, you know, it's probably just going to slow down, right? And we've been getting enough wheat from the 8 and the 11 and the 12. Again, remember, we have 3 wheat locations. I'm relatively confident that we're going to be able to generate enough wheat and that this 9 ore is a worthy investment. Even though we miss a sheep here, but that's okay, you know, from having a city. But the 9 is the right spot here. Because again, our whole objective right now is to build more cities. And just start to like massively triage the amount of things we're getting. And again, we're in really good shape, right? 3's big. So this is one of those, hey, maybe if we put it on the city on the 6-3-12, we had 2 ore and 2 sheep already. But, you know, whatever. It's fine. And an 8. As it is, we have enough for a card. And we do it. Because why wouldn't we? This is a hard lesson I learned from the finals, the national championship. If you have an or we cheap in hand, buy a card. Especially if you're going to pass, just buy a card. It's not worth it. That maybe cost me one of my game with Sonny. I played him. I had a chance for an or we cheap early. I held it. He stole my sheep. No more card. And then I was blocked on my 8 for like the next 3 rounds. Don't do that. Just take the card. Take the card. Especially in this situation where it's like, you know, if you're hoping for like a 9, if you get the 9 roll, then maybe you hold. But if the Catan gods give you a card, take the card. Not a bad deal. That wood's not a bad deal. I kind of think maybe I should have taken it. But at the same time, Gray now is less of a threat to go steal my 8-3-for-1 port. So, you know, there's that. A little less threatening. I'm still kind of like weird here, right? They don't hit me. And honestly, you know, looking at my position, I'm not surprised. I mean, like, what do I really have, right? I have like 3 settlements, terrible production, and I got 2 cards in hand. Do the 2 knights though. So potentially at like, you know, with the knight at 7, which ain't bad. Ain't bad at all. But my position just does not look threatening compared to like Gray or compared to Red, right? Red, they have all the resources, especially Gray. Look at Gray. Not Gray. Brown has like all the resources in abundance. Right? They got 5 pips of ore. They got 9 pips of sheep. They got, what is this? 9 pips of wood, 7 pips of brick, and 7 pips of grain, right? Compared to me, I don't have a lot of those things. I have very, very few of those things. So really, really interesting. Now, I think I'm actually rooting for Gray to take this. Oh, and we get the 12. Money 12s. Money 12s. We love the money 12. Money 12 is great. We uploaded a game like 2 weeks ago where we had like our 1 pip of wheat and that won us the game, which was pretty wild. I'm telling you, 1 pip can do it. It's all you need sometimes. Just need to get it. We do get the trade here. It's interesting. We give it up for a brick. Not because I really want to. That could have been a city too, by the way. I could have gotten. But I think at this point, getting the 3 for 1 is maybe a little bit better. And good. Gray actually winds up getting the settle, which is nice. Because not that they really, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, what? The computer's not going to do anything, but still. What's nice about it is it potentially takes the heat off of me because it makes them look a lot more threatening. Maybe they go for the 10 or the 6 instead of the 9 or something. And there you go. Everyone's pretty balanced right now. So let's go. There you go. Yep, we'll happily look for this. So what I'm looking for is either a settle. What do we get here? No. Yeah, I don't really want to go up the ore, but if I can get an order for a sheep and get the settle city, I take it. And boom, we get just that. We'll settle and we'll city. What a huge turn. And we have a knight in hand, so we're sitting at 9 points with that one little trade there. So real nice. And again, that's a good reason why you trade first, right? They don't know what you're offering. They don't know what you have. Trade first, then settle. So now we're getting targeted, which is not a surprise. But again, not having any cards in hand is nice for us. They steal from brown. And at this point, we're kind of in the driver's seat, right? We need what? 1 city or 1 settle or 1 VP. That's it. And really it comes down to rolls, right? And we're certainly playing our 9, right? There's no reason not to. We got our 4 here, double brick, which is nice. Now with our 3 for 1 port, we potentially trade away those excess resources we don't need. And brown very smartly starting to go and try to connect for the road. So we'll play this. I'm actually sticking it on the 6 here. Don't want them to go get any cities on me or cards. And it turns out to be a really good block because sure enough, 6 rolls. Now I'm fishing, seeing if I can get anything else. I don't think anyone offers me anything. Why would they? We're a little too powerful at this point. But worth a try. Worth a try. Money 12. Money 12. Look at that. Second 12 is money. Love it. Love it. So now, I mean, we're pretty close, right? We get an 11. We got tons of wheat from our low wheat production resources on the 11 and the 12. Got a lot of options here. We can pull for it potentially. Maybe even get a city if we get a 9 or a 3. A lot of options here. What rolls? 6. 6 is great. We get enough sheep. And again, a sheep is potentially a city, right? Almost. If we get 1 roll here, we get a 4, and that's all we need. That's all we need. We can go 3 for 1s. This is exactly what we're going to do, right? And that's kind of the beauty of that port. I actually don't know why we were bothering with this. Did I just not realize that I had it? No, we did. I think we were just trying to buy a card or something or be cute about it. But there you go. 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom. That's a 9 for 3 trade and a game-winning 9 for 3 trade at that. So real nice win. Even with a really wacky setup, low production. Weird. It's a weird board. I mean, it always is when it's a center desert. But real nice win. Let's take a look at the numbers here. These guys weren't too bad either. 1453, we're up to 1303 there, 1250, and 1348. Yep, pretty nice. Ranking-wise, yeah, 3 knights. We were the only people playing that game with a card. And then here, we were never robbed because we were so pathetic looking the entire game. Why rob us? And really, we were really pathetic looking. Though they probably should have been a little bit more cautious when we had our knights going. But overall, I'll take it. Really, really nice. But what a wacky game. Look at this, 29. Got those 2 money 12s at the end. Those 4s. But it's interesting. Everyone had the 4s, right? The 4s were not the big difference maker. The 3 kind of was. The 3 and the 11. Those 2 went off for us 6 times a pop. That really helped. And even the 2 12s, obviously, is a big deal. But let me tell you, those 4s, didn't do for as much as maybe I would have liked. They won us the game, right? We got a 4 at the end, but everyone benefited from the 4. So that was kind of a nice roll that everyone except Red was able to take advantage of. So You know, I'll take it. And again, I'm really surprised Gray didn't do more with this sheet port. It just didn't really happen for them. I still think they should have gone up here to the 810 or the 510. I think maybe they win the game that way. But as it is, we win it with our funky little setup. Gotta love it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to this little commentary of our game here, and I'll see you next time.